I real quickly wanted to talk about and address a couple things that people have asked me, mainly why is your squat stance so close? I squat with a very close stance in comparison to other lifters. One of the reasons I do that is because it works for me. I decided to go back to what was comfortable and where I felt strongest. And how did you improve your squat so much from Worlds to Raw Nationals? At Worlds, I think my best squat was 297. Yeah, and then I hit 319 pounds. So that was 297 in June and hit 319 in October. So real briefly, just want to talk about things that I did to improve my squat. When I first started lifting, I started pretty much like most people, I think, that enter a gym is, started in a commercial gym, looking at bodybuilding magazines, and I squatted high bar, close stance, everything was about developing nice big quads. So I started out that way, and I actually was a pretty good squatter before I started powerlifting. I remember being 6 months pregnant, squatting 225 for reps. And when I got into powerlifting, the minute you post a video or you do anything, you start getting everybody that comments on, oh, you should do this and you'll be stronger, you should change this up, you'll be stronger. You're always chasing that next number, like how can I get better, how can I get stronger? And I don't think you're ever too good or too elite to listen to what other people have to say. I did experiment with different squat stances because I wanted to get stronger, and I did training blocks with a wider stance. I switched from just regular running shoes to Nike Romaleos, get the most expensive shoe out there because that's gonna help me squat more. Funny enough, going back to when I first started lifting, I never even gave a shit about what shoes I was wearing, what belt I had on. I mean, I would just train in whatever I had on, and whatever belt was laying around the gym is what I used. It's funny. However, I did switch to a heeled shoe, and I made several shoe changes. I switched to the heeled shoe, and the problem that I found with the Nike Romaleos, and I don't have ankle mobility issues, one of the problems that I found that was happening to me a lot when I would miss a squat is because I would be so pitched forward in a bad way that I would shoot my hips up and I would fail the lift. So I would actually be forward still and my hips would come up before anything, and I couldn't get the squat up after that. I would sink back down and it would fail. I started kind of looking around going, okay, some of the best squatters are in like flat shoes or very low-heeled Adidas shoes. I just decided, I'm done with the heeled shoe. I'm gonna do a whole training block with just regular old Adidas shell tops. It's a great squat shoe, mainly because it doesn't cost $1 million. You can get it in various colors, and you can wear it out right after you're done training. So why'd you steal my shoes? Those are mine. She stole my squat shoes today.
She acts like it's so fun. This is her. Tag up! And then she goes, say thank you at least. That's what she says. So
because I had my outfit on, and by the way, those are shoes. I don't like those. Those are ugly. Why are you getting those? And look what you got on.
This is what she said in the morning. You know what? She threw them at me.
I didn't throw them. I kicked them at you.
No, yeah, she did. She goes, here, take them. And then I take them, and she says, well, you're welcome.
Because if I give you something, say thank you. Who doesn't say thank you? That is an ungrateful child back there. So if you're gonna make a shoe change, my one suggestion is not to change your shoe this week and go, oh crap, I didn't squat 400 pounds, let me put on a new shoe next week. Stay with that shoe through a training block. I'm wearing the same shirt I wore in my last video. I did wash it, however. It's clean. I did. I don't smell. Take my word for it. Smell like a rose.
Like when people go, well, you're going to taste this, it tastes awful.
I don't stink. I put deodorant on.
Smell this, it smells terrible.
deodorant on this morning.
Oh,
Anyway, I washed the shirt. I did. The times when I was over at his gym, he's like, keep your knees forward longer. And it just clicked. I stayed forward longer. Again, I switched my stance to a narrow squat stance. I just went back to what felt comfortable, where I felt like I had good momentum and where I felt strongest, and that works for me. And when he said keep your knees over your toes longer, it finally clicked. I did it, and I just felt like the bar path and the technique just felt perfect, and it shot up. And I hit 314 pounds, which that was the lift that had eluded me like the last 2 heavy squat training sessions where I would just fail the lift in training. And I hit it, and it was easy. And then 2 weeks later, I hit 319. It also went up fairly easy. It was like, wow. Finally, I have figured out how to squat, and it just took that one cue, just going back to like my roots, just putting on flat shoes, bringing in my squat stance. And again, that works for me. That may not work for you or for everybody out there in Instagram world. I think a lot of times when you see Instagram videos, you try to emulate your favorite lifter, not taking into account they might be 5'5" with really short femurs. Meanwhile, you're 5 feet and you have long femurs. So your leverages may not work, may not be suited to how they are lifting. So at the end of the day, do what works for you and what makes you stronger. I still have people commenting all the time how my squat stance is too narrow, and I need to change that. It's like, well, right now it's working for me and I'm progressing. When I stop progressing, then I'll think about making a change. Until then, I'm gonna stick with what is working. Somebody asked, how can I squat if I have a slight wrist strain? Wear wrist wraps. I don't wear wrist wraps when I squat, but I know a lot of lifters that do. It helps stabilize their wrist a little bit. So depending on how severe the strain is, just wrap it up. I was always told to try and keep your knees from not coming over your ankles. I would watch a video that Juggernaut posted in regards to that exact question that you're asking. Is it safe for your knees to go over your toes? So if you go to Juggernaut Training's YouTube, there's a really good video that they just posted. It's for their squat school, and it's with Dr. Quinn, Chad, and Max Aida. So do you naturally have great mobility, or is that something you've had to develop? Luckily, I'm actually just never do anything for mobility. I'm just naturally pretty flexible, so sorry everybody. It's just I don't work on it at all. High bar or low bar squat, advantages with both. I actually squat both high bar and low bar. High bar squatting I hate it, but it's a really great quad builder. The funny enough is I actually started out in the lifting world squatting mainly only high bar, which is the typical like bodybuilder squat. High bar, super narrow, trying to get big quads. So I still incorporate them both. I think they're both really good to do. When back squatting, how deep should you be going? Always below parallel, always. So what is the best way to grab the bar for squatting? Close grip or wide grip? The closer you can get your hands in, meaning keeping your elbows inside of the wrists, of course it's gonna really depend on how mobile you are. You're gonna generate a lot more upper back tightness, especially when squatting low bar. So, but you can only go as close in as your mobility will allow. So if you don't have great mobility and you have to be here, that's fine, as long as you can get those elbows inside of the wrists and create upper back tightness. Okay, thank you guys for watching, and if you have any questions or comments, type it below. Thanks guys.